And I understand that Mike Mora is still on his way in, so if I could invite Val Carter for the Fendleton Waimari Community Board to come forward. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Well, we're not asking for a lot. We realise the council situation at the moment, but you've all got our submission, and our biggest request is the Bishopdale Library and Community Centre. We still want that to go ahead, and that's our biggest thing really in the ward at the moment. Is there anything else you want me to explain about this?
No. I mean, it's a very straightforward submission, but I guess it's an opportunity. So, Vicky?
Could I just find out exactly about the Bishopdale Library Community Centre? What's actually holding it up?
Well, it was damaged in the earthquake, and the council couldn't get into it for a long time. It had DEE on it, and that's why the council couldn't get into it. I don't know what's holding it up. It was one of the busiest libraries in the area.
I'm just intrigued as to why. Is that the total amount of money that's needed?
No, probably more.
Do you know how much more?
No, I have got no idea.
Yanni?
Yes, thank you. Just so I'm clear, you do have a temporary library that's been established?
Yes, we do.
And how is that working?
Very well.
Right.
And the people are using that.
So I think really one of the things in terms of Bishopdale is that we've, because council has changed its earthquake-prone policy to enable buildings that are possibly under 34%, but not having critical brittle collapse mechanisms that can open. Staff have been re-looking at Bishopdale to see whether, in line with our policy change, we can open it. Are you asking us to reopen it or to repair it, or if we could spend less and get it reopened, but not up to the same level of earthquake proneness as we had in our policy? What would your guys' view be?
Well, it's difficult. That community centre did need some form of betterment. It was a number of years ago, 10 years ago, the council was talking about demolishing it and rebuilding it. That has never happened. And some of the things like the windows and the heating were always bad in that community centre. But it's a very busy community centre, and it's really the only major one we have got, apart from Avis Hill and the little old library in Fendleton, that we have got in our ward.
Okay. And just, my understanding is a report is going to the community board in 2 weeks, mid-May, so we should hopefully be able to get some more information before we finalise it, but there is an issue with our insurer as well, which is holding things up.
Phil?
Thank you.
Thanks, Phil. The Fendleton Library, which is open, and you refer to the opening hours and that your board would like to keep the current opening hours?
Yes, we would like to keep the current opening hours.
And understand why in terms of accessibility and availability for people. If in fact council still decide that we need to achieve some cost savings in this area, I'm just wondering, what do you think would be people's preference? If the hours had to be reduced, would it be better to say have them open later in the morning and available in the evening, or vice versa? And I know that your board's first preference is that there be no change.
I'm not an authority on this, but I would like a couple of evenings open a week and Saturday mornings.
Okay.
I don't know about later in the morning, because when we go in there for meetings, there are always people queuing and waiting to get in at 9 o'clock. So I don't know whether you'd really want to open it later in the mornings. But maybe losing a couple of evenings would be okay if that's what we have to do.
Okay. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
Ali?
Val, can I just ask about vulnerability in the community with regards to the problems with the land? There are a lot of land issues around parts of your ward houses having come down, EQC clearly holding things up, and insurance companies. What's your overall, especially with some of the older members in your ward?
Well, I think, like the rest of Christchurch, there's a lot of stress there, and a lot of it is insurance companies. And I don't know what we can do any more than what we're already doing. It's slowly working through.
What do you feel is being done for them at the moment?
What do I feel? Just communicating with them and giving them information. But really, they have to deal with their insurance companies themselves. EQC's open in the Fendleton Service Centre to help them with EQC matters, but it is really insurances.
Okay, thank you.
Glenn?
Yeah, hi, Bill. Obviously, across the city, a lot of improvements on land have increased under the valuations. Have you got any parts of the ward where the land is actually dropped in valuation, or is that largely increased as well?
No, from my experience, the TC3 land in our area has stayed at the same level. It hasn't gone up in value. But from what I'm looking at, when they're rebuilding, they can put good platforms down before they build their houses. It is expensive, but they can do it.
Doesn't seem to be anything else. Okay, well, look, thank you very much, Val. That's a great contribution. We always like submissions that start off by saying this submission does not ask council to increase spending. It's
We do understand what you're in at the moment.
but thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Much appreciated.